Welcome to the fabulous Las Vegas Rotary Club. User error there, but it's fixed now. Our club continues to make a difference by teaching youth to succeed through literacy, education, and life skills development. My name is Michael Gordon, and I'm proud to serve as the 95th president of the greatest Rotary Club in the world. To open our meeting today, I would like to call to the front Richard Jost.
When people ask me about legal advice, I tell them if you're doing something important, you should definitely spend the money to consult with competent counsel. So when I was asked to do the invocation, I did the same thing. I talked to my younger brother, who's a retired minister and past president of his Rotary Club, and he suggested, as an invocation, "Gracious Father, we gather today to give you thanks for your many blessings showered upon us. For the blessings of the community leadership gathered here today, we give you thanks. For the ability of this Rotary Club to share the blessings you have given us to make a difference in this community, we give you thanks. For the food we are about to receive and the hands that prepared it and served it, we give you thanks. For the Golden Knights having the best record in the NHL, we give you thanks. All these things we offer up to you in thankfulness and praise. We pray this in your holy name. Amen."
Thank you. Thank you. Very appropriate there. And our song leader today is one of our newest members, Adam Hommey.
Thank you, Michael. All right, we're going to do one verse of God Bless America, and after you hear my singing voice, you're going to understand I'm letting you off the hook. You ready? Here we go. God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Okay. Yes, I will. Okay, so if we could all please turn towards the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. You may be seated. Our Sergeant at Arms today is Toni Kern. Toni, are you ready to be of service? Thank you. Do we have any international visiting Rotarians, Bob? No one showed up. No one found us today. Okay. Are there any visiting Rotarians? Okay.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Stephanie McAlilly from San Antonio, Texas. I'm a member of the San Antonio Northeast Rotary Club. Wait a minute. And I have a guest. We have about 40 members in our club. And we're very active, though. And I do have a guest with me also.
Yes, my name's Jose Lopez. I'm visiting. I'm her guest, so just stop by and say hi.
Sure. Welcome.
And
wait.
Oh, we're keeping going.
We have an exchange.
Have an exchange.
And we get a picture opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for visiting. Any more visiting Rotarians over here?
Still on green. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Toni Holmes. I'm from Anchorage International Rotary Club in Anchorage, Alaska. And this is my second visit to see if I'd like to make this club, and you would have me as a member.
I believe your search for a new club is over. More visiting Rotarians? Okay, then let's move to guests of Rotarians. Plenty of guests.
My guest today is Stacy Watkins, and Stacy is a Senior Vice President at Nevada State Bank, a Regional Manager, and she is also the immediate past chair for Junior Achievement. So she would be a wonderful Rotarian, don't you think? Welcome, Stacy, today.
Hi, my guest is Ellie Solomon of Advanced Marketing Science.
Thanks. Behind you, with that table.
Good afternoon, Matt Nelson here. I have a guest, Mark Ashworth. He's in the financial services with Capstone Partners and a native Las Vegan.
Thank you.
Diane, you can stand up. My guest for a second week in a row, Diane Clary, my lady friend, and she was given an application today, so I hope she'll be interested in joining us.
So Jerry is giving her the hard sell. So.
My guest today is Omar Zabian. He is the Director of Global Events for One Drop and Cirque du Soleil.
And my guest today is my son, David Maffey, and he is part of our Tiberti Real Estate Division. Thank you.
Wait a minute, now we're going to do...
Okay, and then Marie right there, Marie Walsh.
I'm very happy to introduce my sister-in-law, Camille, who out of the kindness of her heart filled in for John today and helped me, and I think that was great. Thank you.
Thank you. And then...
I have a guest with me today. He's a mortgage associate of mine and a very good friend. His name's Jeff Huckabee.
Any other guests? Then I would like to introduce my guest today at the head table, Paul Maffey, who spent 9 years in the Air Force flying C-130 cargo planes. I told him to wave like the Queen when he stands up. And taught at the Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. He joined our club in 1994 and is a current trustee of our local foundation board. He works at the Tiberti Construction Company, named after longtime member and past president of our club, J.A. Tiberti, with 2 of his sons. In his spare time, he enjoys tennis and cycling, and he's happy to report that his 23rd grandchild was born this past November. So please join me in welcoming all our visiting Rotarians and guests. Moving right on to updates on members. If you could please give the microphone to Janet Linder right there to tell us how some of our members are doing, who've been in the hospital, some are out, some are still there.
Okay, I'm reporting out on Ted McAdam again. Stephen and I made a big pot of slumgullion goulash, whatever you call it. We made it up. Anyway, we made a big pot of it and took it over to Ted and Diana. He's quite thin, quite frail, quite weak, but on the mend. And he was kind of nervous. He was like counting days out of the hospital because he had 2 bouts with that. So anyway, he's home free right now, so keep him in your prayers. And also Bill Granda, I'll report out on him real quickly. We also took them food out of the same pot. We made a big pot. So Bill looks very ashen, and he's very thin as well. And the prognosis is not good, so please keep him in your prayers as well. And Deb as well.
And then I have an update on Tom Whisenhunt, past President Karen's husband. His surgery, his aortic valve replacement surgery is done. He's recuperating in California. Ty Hilbrecht also needs all the help and prayers and visits that you can spare. And then if you could take the microphone to Marie Walsh for another update.
Hi, everyone. This is an update on my brother John. He was hospitalized 3 weeks ago in California, but has since been transferred back here to Las Vegas. He is in Sunrise Hospital, and he's coming along. It's going to be a long recuperation, we think, but they're working on him. And if you would like to send him a card, I would appreciate it if you would send it to his home, because we go there every day, so we'll bring the cards to him. And I know he wants to say hello to everyone, and thank you.
And we have a card also that's going to be circling right now for John, so if you want to sign that. But more than that, please text, call, visit if you have time for Ted McAdam, Bill Granda, Tom Whisenhunt, Ty Hilbrecht, and John Ingeme. This is the family of Rotary. Let's keep them in our thoughts and prayers. And then moving on, we have our Sweetheart, our annual Sweetheart Luncheon on February 8th. So 2 weeks from today, please bring your sweetheart to lunch and tell them and show them what you do every Thursday at lunch. So for an accurate RSVP head count, please sign up in the book and we will get to that. I'm going to get to you, Jim Tucker. I'm going to get to you.
I got the mic.
And you're a past president, so please, sir, go ahead.
Okay.
Never mind what's on the agenda. It's your meeting.
Well, guys, we sold out the board. So we'll pull the numbers next week, and I would like to thank all the Rotarians who participated, because half it goes to our foundation. Thank you all.
Thank you. Also, speaking of the foundation, there is a foundation board meeting this afternoon in the Vintage Room, which is the wine cellar in the back. And that sounds nice, and that's how we make decisions here for the foundation, in the wine cellar. Next, I would like to invite to the front our director, our current club board director, Melanie Maldani, for a mid-year report.
So I get to be the first of these mid-year reports from the directors. So bear with me. All right, so I am the International Service Director of our board. We have a couple of different areas. If you remember from our assembly at the beginning of the year, I went through those and kind of our goals that we wanted to do. So now I'm trying to give you an update on what we're doing. They keep giving me money. I love it. So they gave me $10,000 to put towards international projects this year. We have done that. We have decided to spend $8,600 in Nicaragua on a creation of satellite university for careers in medicine, dentistry, and optometry. With all the matching grants from TRF and Pause and Smile, the district, that would be $30,100 that would go towards that program. But their budget is $167,000, so it's not fully funded yet, and it's in the initial stages of that project. And that's in collaboration with the Calgary project or Calgary group of Rotary that does quite a lot of international projects. They have a whole committee that's very active in that arena, so we're in good hands there with that project. The other project that we put our money into was $1,400 going to Kenya for deaf education and development. And that's, just we pledged our money to that, so they're not fully funded yet either, so they're getting things going. Part of the global grants is that it's a long-term process. You have to fill out your application, then you have to get it funded, and then you have to actually do the project that you said you're going to do. So things just keep, going on. So everything's moving along smoothly in the other projects that we have contributed to. We have 2 in India, one for an installation of dialysis machines in some hospitals, one for low-cost sewage treatment in some schools. That will help kids be able to go to school, because otherwise they wouldn't be able to go to school. And then we have a Uganda project that helps with water and sanitation, and those are all moving forward. So the other areas that are under international service, especially that's coming up very soon, is the Mayor's Cup. This is a soccer tournament, international soccer tournament, and we host a soccer team from Germany, and that is February 15th through February 19th. I think we still need host families for that. And then even if you're not a host family, anybody's welcome to go to the games. They're at the soccer complex on Lake Mead and Tenaya, right across from Cimarron Memorial High School, where I went. Go Spartans. And so, if you can't be a host family, then go to the games and show your support that way. Another project is Super Build. It's building houses in underdeveloped countries. We don't have a date for that. The May 5th date that was originally discussed is off, and it's now in between two dates of April 7th and June 2nd. So we will let you know when that gets finalized. The World Community Peace Conference occurred. President Michael and First Lady Amanda went to that. So thank you for doing that. International Youth Exchange, we have kids going at, and then we have a fundraising for the International Youth Exchange to come. It's a putting tournament, so keep your eyes out for that. And then possibly we've had a request to do an open world coming up for the new people, because we didn't have open world last year. This is a group of international judges that come from Eastern Europe to come, go to different courtrooms, go to different things throughout the community. And so if that gets finalized, we'll probably need a lot of help. There's a lot of moving pieces to that program, transportation, dinners, and kind of meeting with all these people and getting them around all week. So keep your ears out for that, and then if that happens, hopefully you guys all call to action like you normally do. Thank you.
Thank you. As Melanie mentioned, we are diversifying economies worldwide, and STEM jobs is not just here, but we're doing it in Nicaragua and Kenya and Uganda and everywhere. So thank you, Melanie, for your work on that. Next up, I would like to call to the front Jamie Goldsmith for a presentation. You want to call it?
Okay, so we had a wine to water event at Dr. Michael Williams' beautiful home not too long ago, where we raised $697.70 for the One Drop Foundation, which I am presenting to Omar today. Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to say what it will go to, or just like 30 seconds?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know it goes to the local.
Yeah, okay.
30 seconds.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for this. We really appreciate it. So, One Drop is a foundation that was started in 2007 by the founder of Cirque du Soleil, Guy Laliberté. One Drop's mission is to provide access to safe water around the world. So, Las Vegas is very important to us, and this will go to fund projects locally here in Las Vegas. So, Jamie, thank you very much for this. And thank you all, and it's a pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Next up, it is the final meeting of the month, and I would like to present a 4-way test coin to the person who went above and beyond this month. And this month, this person, as president, you get emails from members telling you, oh, you should do this, or oh, you should do that. And I'm always interested to know how much time people think I have in the day. And it's all good ideas, right? All great ideas, and I'm thankful for that pieces of advice. But this person actually went out and did it, said, here's an opportunity, and I said, can you please take care of this? And this person did it. So for that, I would like to award this month's 4-way test coin to President-elect Jackie Thornhill. If she can come to the front. And I will tell you what she did. So NV Energy has their own foundation, and it's called the Power of Good, and they give money specifically to the military, and they are looking for worthy organizations to spend some of their money, and Jackie took it upon herself to apply for our Wetzel Awards. So thank you, Jackie. Pause and smile. Kirk, now for him or later? Yeah. And I'm going to give the microphone now to Kirk for another special presentation.
Well, it's kind of special presentation. Well, it is a special presentation. So a little bit, around 6 months ago, I was on Facebook, and I saw this amazing video, and then I shared it with my now fiancée, and she informed me that when I go to buy an engagement ring, that this is where I had to get it. And so I reached out to the founder of this organization called Do Amore, and I said, hey, if you're ever coming to Vegas, would you come and be my guest at lunch? So, without further ado, while this is booting up, I want to introduce my new friend in real life, Krish, who founded this amazing company called Do Amore, and it's kind of ironic because what they do is they ethically source diamonds to provide clean drinking water throughout the country, actually, and the world. So without further ado, I'm going to play this video and turn it over to you.
And so over the next 18 months, I worked on learning everything I could about the industry, and I began to craft the most ethical ring possible for recycled metals, copper, stones, even eco-friendly packaging.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Kirk, and I absolutely love this city, Las Vegas, so thanks for having us here. So like Kirk was saying, I'll just give you a very quick background because I know we have a great speaker ahead of us and I really want to hear her speak. So right when I graduated school, I joined Shell Oil, and I was really excited about joining Shell because I was going to move back to Houston, be with my family. The first day I get to Shell, they tell me we're moving you to a small town in Louisiana, and you're going to live on a drilling rig for a year. So, I was excited about it. I went to go live on this rig, and over the next few months, I would watch well after well be drilled. And very quickly, I learned it is actually very hard to drill for oil. It takes weeks and months. But when you start drilling, you hit water within minutes, or even at the most hours. And so seeing the water crisis firsthand, growing, living abroad and traveling, this started to bother me. And I knew that one day I was going to leave my oil and gas career and I was going to bring clean water to the world. And so I began to research this. I was going to build a nonprofit to do this. And very quickly I learned there are already many organizations that do this. There are many organizations that are dedicated to doing this. So instead of just creating my own organization and reinventing the wheel, I thought, why don't I actually help one of these organizations that already exists? So I wanted to sell a product that was expensive and that was very high in volume so that every time I sold a product, I could really make a substantial difference. And around that same time, I was beginning to look for a ring for my then girlfriend, now my wife, and I was very bothered by the ethics of the industry, and I decided, you know what, if I can take an engagement ring, it's an expensive product, they're high in volume, it's the perfect product to be able to sell and give some of that to clean water. And so I began crafting an ethical ring from recycled gold. I found an ethical diamond in Botswana that I sourced for her ring. And on the day I proposed, I also funded a water well in Haiti that was recently affected from the earthquake. And once people began to hear about our ring and the story, I started getting texts and phone calls saying, hey, I'm proposing soon, can you do the same thing for me? Can you do the same thing for me? And so I started doing this, and about a month after proposing, I decided, you know what, if I can even save a few lives, it's worth it, and I quit my job, and this is what I do now. And what I would say is what I have learned from doing all of this is that one of the best things you can do for business is to give back. We don't even have to market our company anymore, because when someone gets engaged, they go and tell everyone on Facebook and Instagram how their water is actually providing someone, how their ring is providing someone to clean water. And we no longer have to market or advertise our company. And what I've learned is, by giving back in business, you can actually really bring huge change to the world, and it actually makes good business sense as well. And so now we're able to grow our business with great normal business practices like any other jewelry company would want to, but in the process, we're bringing people clean water every day. So really appreciate you all having me. Thank you, Kirk, and thank you all so much for having me here.
Yeah. Thank you. What better segue for Rotary, right? Giving back in business, and now you have new friends for water wells with One Drop, so it all comes together in this room. So I'm going to give you guys about 3 minutes to enjoy lunch and fellowship. So thank you for your continued donations to our Rotary Foundation. Tony, if you are ready to jump back into service, if you could take the microphone to President-elect Jim Cole for our car show. Jim? Jim? Oh.
I was hiding. So just a quick update. Everyone here will probably recall, we're doing the car show this year. It's going to be on April 15th, which is a Sunday. We're looking forward to having a wonderful time down at Celebrity Cars. And there are still some sponsorship opportunities that are available. So if you would like to sponsor, please drop me a line or give me a phone call. Thanks.
Okay. And then next up is Anil Melnick to talk about our 95th birthday party. He's right there.
Okay, so I hope everyone will attend our 95th anniversary party taking place right here in Lowry's, April 5th at 6 p.m. We're going to have some great speakers, and it's going to be a wonderful evening for the club. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. And then Kirk Alexander, so you're bouncing back and forth between those tables.
All right, I just wanted to remind you that RILA is the 16th through the 18th of March. Anybody that has a student they'd like to promote, we'd like to get an application put together for them by next week. And if you're interested in participating at all in camp as a facilitator, or if you've already been as a facilitator and would like to consider being a continent leader, please let me know. Again, that's very early in the morning on Friday, the 16th of March. The kids leave at no later than 6 a.m. from the South Point, and they return to the South Point on Sunday afternoon. Yes. Steve would like for me to remind you that Rotary Youth Leadership Awards is what we call RILA. Okay, so it's a student competition that's for kids that are 17 years old. Juniors in high school, and we usually interview kids from our 3 Interact clubs. So the 16th through the 18th.
Okay. More questions afterwards. I got to cut Kirk off. So
right.
Talk to Kirk afterwards. And then is Kathy Delvey here, past President Kathy? Yes. Thank you, because otherwise we would have had to give the microphone to Russ Swain. And so luckily you can make the announcement about the soccer team.
So I'm the substitute of Russ. That's good. So I guess I'm talking about the German soccer team coming. And are we still looking for hosts? I thought we were done. Does anybody have a spare bedroom and that's not doing anything President's Day weekend? Because we would love to have you join in with the soccer team and sponsoring 2 members from the German soccer team, which is really interesting because they're pro athletes. They get paid, they're under contract, and they're 16 years old. So it is definitely a different world over there in Germany for sports than it is here. And it's fun to be a part of that. So either talk to Russ or myself if you're interested.
Sure. Thank you.
And this is sort of the last time because we've got to get it together. Thank you.
Thank you. Then I'm going to announce there is a new member orientation on Tuesday, February 6th at the home of Steve and Janet Linder with plenty of wine and maybe some food, but at least the wine. Jim Tucker said our Super Bowl board is sold out, but Jerry Engel has a unique opportunity with some real tickets, real Super Bowl tickets.
I'm behind you, Jerry.
I received an interesting email today from a friend back east, and he says this. He says, I know it's a little late notice, but a friend of mine has 2 tickets to the Super Bowl in Minneapolis at the new U.S. Bank Stadium on Sunday, February 4th. They are box seats, and he paid $3,500 per ticket, which includes a ride to and from the airport, lunch, dinner, a $400 bar tab, and a pass to the winner's locker room after the game. What he didn't realize when he bought them last year was that it's on the same day as his wedding. So he said, if you have Any friends? He's looking for someone to take his place. The wedding will be at St. Paul's Church. Her name is Ashley. She's 5 feet 4 inches, about 115 pounds, a good cook, loves to fish and hunt, and will clean your truck. She'll be the one in the white dress.
Okay, Jerry, that is it. I thought we were raising some money for the foundation here. You are cut off, sir. Just one final announcement. This weekend is the first time that we are helping at the weekly car show. Ryan Hamilton, where are you? Ryan? Car show on Eastern. So Ryan's weekly car show. So if you are available, from now on, every last Saturday of the month, we will be at Ryan's Place, the car show on Eastern. So come and help promote our club there. Anything you want to add, Ryan? Anything I'm missing?
Yeah, it is on Eastern. It is not at my showroom, though. So just to be clear, it's from 7 to 10 a.m. And I think the club's going to be working on some sponsorships that'll benefit the club as well. So we can talk about that later. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you for letting us be of service. And then we are going to do the drawing. So for the pot is some amount that is listed in the wheel. I don't know exactly what it is, but the number is 848-385. 848-385. Oh. Going once. 848-385. Going twice. Yep. Don, PDG Don. Don Aiken. Come on up. Thank you. The pot continues to grow. And then for the Lowry Bucks, we have 848-554. 848-554. Chris Rodenfels. Pause and smile. Yeah, Fred. Oh, out of the light. Thank you. There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, hold it for the questions. And then we don't have time for a fine, but I do want to remind everybody that Pat and Lamar Marchese are back in town. We're glad you guys survived all the hurricanes and storms and floods of Florida, and we're happy you're back here. So good to see you, sir. And now for our introduction, I would like to call to the front Rosalie.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for silencing for me. That's very gracious. So I'd like to introduce our speaker today. It is Jocelyn Cousins. She's with the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco, Community Development District Manager for the Field Group and Regional Manager for Arizona and Nevada. I'm not going to read her bio because it is in our wheels, so please, everyone, give her a warm welcome as our speaker today.
Thank you very much. Well, good afternoon. Oh, I might need that. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to try and put this up here. There we go. I'm very pleased and excited to be here today to chat with you a little bit about our Small Business Credit Survey. So as she indicated, I'm Jocelyn Cousins with the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco, but I am a Las Vegas resident for almost 20 years. So this is my home. And so the topics that I talk about, and especially when I can talk about things that are relevant to Nevada and the Nevada residents, it's more important to me and more near to my heart. So I'm really excited to be here. So as business professionals, I hope that you find the information that I'm going to provide today informative. I do want to emphasize that I am not an economist, so please don't ask me any questions about rates or anything like that, because I don't have any answers, and your guess is as good as mine as it relates to rates. So let's dig in a little bit. So the Small Business Credit Survey is a national collaboration of the community development offices of the 12 reserve banks across the country. It was designed to provide timely information on small business financing needs, decisions, and outcomes to policymakers, researchers, and service providers. The Small Business Credit Survey is an annual survey of firms with 500 or fewer employees. These types of firms represent 99.7, that's a pretty high number, percentage of all employer establishments in the United States. Respondents are asked to report information about their business performance, financing needs and challenges, as well as borrowing behaviors and experiences. So the survey started during the financial crisis and is intended to do three things: give policymakers and lenders a better understanding of the needs of small businesses to inform incentive, protection, and lending product development. Provide small businesses, like some of you here today, and technical assistance providers with information to make informed decisions about credit strategies, and to give researchers more information to better discern what will help businesses grow more, grow faster, and grow the economy. So in 2017, the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco produced a 12th district report that showed data from 6 of our 9 western states, including Arizona, California, Hawaii, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington. And of course, I'm going to focus on Nevada today. So I do want to thank the community partners that helped us get the survey out. And that included Nevada Small Business Development Center, Northern Nevada SCORE, and Clearinghouse CDFI. So without their partnership, we would not have a Nevada-specific report. So I really appreciate their partnership. So the previous slide showed that in 2016, we received a little over 10,000 employer firms and 5,700 non-employer firm responses. This slide shows the geographic distribution of the responses received. For some reason, I'm not sure why they did this, they put Nevada into the mountain category. I consider us part of Pacific. But anyway, with that said, you'll see that we only received 8% of the total responses from across the country. Our region only received 8%. And I'm hoping that we can get more responses during the next cycle and the next survey, because the more responses we get, the better data we have for Nevada. So, and I'm going to hopefully look to you all in the membership here to help get the survey out the next time. So now you know me, so when you receive an email from me asking for your participation, you'll know why. Because, good data in is good reports out, and that's what we're hoping to accomplish going forward. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to start with some national results, just to kind of lay the framework from across the country. So the majority of firms reported that they were profitable and had growing revenues. 61% of employer small businesses faced financial challenges in the last year. The most common way employer firms coped with financial challenges was by self-funding, and most firms sought $100,000 or less in financing, and banks are the most common source of credit. Smaller firms also frequently turn to online lenders and other sources. So that's what we see across the country. So now let's look at dig in to Nevada results. So in Nevada, there were 114 respondents for the 2016 survey, and we need to get that up significantly. Nevada businesses reported a healthy performance and optimism about future growth and modest debt expectation. Operating expenses and credit availability remain as one of the biggest challenges, and a majority of firms applied for funds to grow their business. So what does that really mean? So let's unpack that a little bit more. So in summary, this slide, we have the indexes, and I can explain all the indexes, but in summary, what this slide is saying is that more firms were profitable than those that weren't in the United States than in Nevada. More firms in Nevada, which is the second chart, had an increase in revenue than those that had a decrease. That's a good thing. And thirdly, more firms in Nevada had an increase in employment than those that had a decrease. We're not faring as well as the national numbers, but anything over 0 is a positive number. So this is also showing good numbers for Nevada. So what are the age of our firms? Where do we stand in terms of that? So 67% of Nevada businesses are less than 10 years old, while 43% are less than 5 years old, which says to me that we have a lot of newer businesses in Nevada. This is important as we look at the ability of new businesses to access credit, because sometimes there are some requirements for being in business a certain number of years. So if we have a large percentage of businesses that are 5 years and below, which would include 1 year, 2 year, that's going to limit their access or their ability to access credit. So this slide shows the revenue size of Nevada businesses. 45% of our businesses have revenues between $100,000 to $1 million. Interesting to note that 32% have revenues between $1 million to $10 million, which is higher than the U.S. figures. So there's something that we can say that we have better than everybody else has. So positive, good stuff, right? We know we have lots of good stuff. So credit risk. As business professionals, you all know the importance of credit scores. So the majority of borrowers in Nevada are considered low risk. These figures are calculated using self-reported business credit scores or personal credit scores, and we use the higher of the two. So when we say low risk, it's defined as having a business score between 80 to 100 or a personal credit score of 720 or above. And then high risk would be a business score of 1 to 49 and a personal credit score of less than 620. So that kind of gives you a sense of where we sit. So a large number of firms are not growing, which is similar to a large number of firms are not growing, which is similar to the U.S. But as you can see, 31% of Nevada firms are growing, which means that they have increased revenues, increased employees, and plan to increase or maintain the number of employees. So on this slide, and amongst all of them, respondents could select they had multiple options to choose from. And based on, in this slide, it appears that operating expenses and credit availability or funds for expansion are the most significant financial challenges experienced by firms in Nevada. Of interest here is that significantly more Nevada businesses use personal funds than the U.S., and fewer use external financing. So the amount of outstanding debt is very relevant from a lender's perspective. They want to know how much debt you have. If you're heavy on debt, are they going to give you more debt? So those things are really, really important from an ability to access additional credit to expand and grow. So 64% of Nevada firms have outstanding debt, and most firms carry less than $100,000 in outstanding debt. So depending on the size of the organization and the revenue of the organization, $100,000 in debt may be a lot or may not be a lot. So it's all relative and just depends on, based on the revenue and size of the organization. So among firms that applied in the prior 12 months, the majority of firms in Nevada are seeking to expand their business or pursue a new opportunity, which has the potential to provide more jobs for our residents, which is always a good thing. So we want to see the economy grow. We want to see diversification in our economy here, and a lot of that can be done with the growth of small businesses, which employ the majority of people across the country are employed by small business. So here we see that 65% of Nevada firms sought financing for less than $100,000, while 17% sought loans at less than $25,000. To me, this begs the question, what type of lender offers loans at less than $25,000? Not a lot. And we'll dig into that a little bit later on in terms of what sort of lenders are out there for this small dollar amount. So why do businesses apply for financing? What's their reason? The two key factors in an application are the chance of being funded and the relationship with the lender. So Nevada firms rely on existing relationships with lenders. So it appears that Nevada firms prefer loans and lines of credit, as 85% of Nevada firms applied for this type of financing product. We hear from some businesses that they use credit cards to fund their operating expenses, but based on this, only 32% of our businesses use credit cards. So I don't know what you all hear or what you all do, but I hear a lot of that in my interaction with the Small Business Development Center and the chambers, that a lot of businesses aren't able to access additional credit because they have a lot of credit card debt. So this to me was kind of interesting. I thought that credit cards would be a little bit higher, but so the previous slide indicated that 85% of firms applied for a loan or a line. So what type of lender are these businesses applying to? So 46% of Nevada firms applied for a loan or line with a large bank, and 31% applied with an online lender. So how many of you, I'm curious, are hearing more and more about online lending? So a few of you. It's becoming very, very popular. So only 4% applied with a CDFI, which I thought would be higher, as CDFIs usually offer smaller loan amounts and are willing to take a little more risk than a bank. So I'm going to take a minute and talk about a CDFI and what that is. So some of you may not know or may not be familiar with CDFIs, or Community Development Financial Institutions, because I'm going to reference that a good bit in the next couple of slides. So CDFIs provide credit and financial services to people and communities underserved by mainstream commercial banks and lenders. CDFIs encompass a range of nonprofit and for-profit entities, including community development banks, community development credit unions, community development loan funds, community development venture capital funds, and microenterprise loans. So we have some of those here in our state. So these are other vehicles and opportunities for accessing credit. Much smaller loans, a little riskier loans based on credit. So we didn't have enough data to look at approval rates from for Nevada specific, which again this is my ask for your participation next year. But we do have national data just to really look at trends. I mean, they're still going to be relevant, and we can apply this information to us here in Nevada. So overall, CDFIs, which we just talked about, and small banks have the highest approval rates, which again is surprising since not many firms apply to CDFIs. So the question is, to me, do businesses know about CDFIs and how to access them? So I'm going to ask you all, have you ever heard of CDFIs? Do you know what they are, and has anyone ever accessed them or went to them to apply for credit? We have one person, so that's good. You have a quiz at the end, so I'm going to reach out to you. So this is something our community development department promotes in our market. So when we have a community that's underserved, that is lacking access to credit, this is when the community development department will convene community stakeholders to raise the awareness of this sort of access to credit. So we've done events in the past and held community development forums here. We've had the SBA, we've had some of these CDFIs that come and speak, and we also bring banks and small business lenders, because they're the ones that if a bank or a small business lender at a bank is declining a small business, then they should be referring those businesses to the CDFIs that we have in Nevada. And we do have 3 that work across the entire state. So there is opportunity there. This is definitely an underutilized resource, and it's my job to help more small businesses know about CDFIs. So we asked firms that were approved for credit who they were most satisfied with. So borrowers were most satisfied with small banks, credit unions, and CDFIs, which I'm again surprised about because not that many people use CDFIs. But I guess when they do apply to a CDFI, they're having a good experience. So dissatisfaction was highest with large banks and online lenders. Firms cited high interest rates, unfavorable repayment terms, long waits, difficult application process, and lack of transparency. So this sort of information is what we like to share with banks, because they need to understand the gap in, for businesses in terms of accessing credit. I mean, and it's a business decision. They're in business to serve their clients, especially small business banks. That's their focus. So they need to. This information is relevant to them because they can understand what they're missing and what they need to change and what programs should be, I say, rejiggered in order to be able to bring more small businesses to their bank. So the data captured by this survey underscore areas of opportunity for both borrowers and lenders. One example is the importance of expanding access to capital for small businesses, which I've talked a lot about. Another example is the prevalence of various types of financial institutions, including CDFIs, as well as alternative lenders, such as online lenders. So the 2 important things are there are other products that are available from different sorts of lenders. We need to recognize that and get that word out. So I hope you found this interesting, and we'll open it up for questions. But one thing I do want to say is that the 2017 survey ended in December. Had I spoke to you guys sooner, then I could have had you all involved in the 2017 survey. But that report, which will be similar to this one, will be compiled by June or July. And I'd be happy to share it with you all later this year by link, or if you want me to come and talk to see if there's anything that's changed for us. And I'm hoping that the 2017 report will reflect growth from our businesses and that credit becomes more accessible and readily available to help our Nevada small businesses grow. So I will stop there.
You can just wait for the microphone?
Sure. So
we can wait for the microphone?
Yeah, we'll wait for I've been instructed, we'll wait for the microphone and keep all the tough questions till later, after I'm gone. So.
Thank you. Could you tell us what the criteria is that the Fed uses to quantify a small business as compared to medium or larger size businesses?
Sure. Well, we're looking at in businesses with 500 or less employees. That is our definition. So revenue size doesn't matter, but we're just really looking at the number of employees.
So how does what's the relationship with the Small Business Administration with what you're talking about?
As it relates to their definition? Well, I mean, I would imagine that there's some overlap. We haven't been as restricted as the SBA because their definition is, and for CRA purposes, Community Reinvestment Act purposes, from bank's perspective, that's businesses with revenues of $1 million and less. It falls under this community development definition for us. But we don't tie it directly to their definition, but we do partner with them in terms of getting the survey out to their customers.
You mentioned 3 CDFIs operating in the state. Could you tell us who those are and give us a little more specifics about information about accessing those?
Absolutely. So the 3 here are Axion, and it was previously called Nevada Microenterprise Initiative, and it's now called Valley Economic Development Corporation. Axion looks at their sweet spot is $50,000 and below. VDC is $50,000 and above. So those are kind of the 2 pieces, and I'm happy to share contact information for them. I can send it to whoever for both organizations. The third is Clearinghouse CDFI, and they do considerably larger loans. And part of Clearinghouse CDFI is the work that they do because they are their focus is on economic development. So their loans to small businesses are mainly tied to real estate. So that's why their dollar amount is going to be significantly higher than the other 2. Does that answer your question?
That's great.
Okay, sure.
So have you taken into consideration companies that buy receivables or do factoring, those types of companies within your analysis?
Well, factoring was actually one of our areas of on one of our slides. So I don't know that we specifically target that organization, but if they fit within our definition, then they're definitely included. And so, you know what, I could probably, too, what I think we need to do is get a better sense of the makeup of the respondents. That might be helpful information, too, to be able to say, of the 10,000 people that responded, what industries did, and I'm sure they have that information, what buckets did they fall into, and we could do that, too, for the Nevada respondents as well. We just need more Nevada respondents. Have I said that enough? So, okay.
As I recall, the SBA will guarantee 90% of the loan, and the banks take on a 10% risk. Is that still the ratio?
No, right. No. No, it's not quite that good. You must be a banker. Are you? I'm going to let you hit that one. Can I defer that one to you? Do you know the percentage?
Well, sure. But my question is, if SBA will turn you down, then why would your organization consider lending to somebody that's already been turned down by the SBA?
Perfect question. So CDFIs are funded through investments from financial institutions, banks, and so their mission is they are mission-driven organizations, and the 2 smaller ones I referred to are nonprofit CDFIs, and their mission is to assist small businesses that can't access commercial loans from commercial institutions. So they will only give you a loan if you've been declined by a bank. And they're able to take on a little more risk. Their risk profile is a little looser than commercial banks because their dollars are at a lower rate from the investors in their fund, if that makes sense. Okay?
Where are we going? What is the net effect of the legalization of marijuana in California and Nevada?
Ooh.
I read something the other day that some small California town is now able to fix their roads and put schools in and stuff that they didn't have before?
That is a good question. I don't have information on that one. I'm sure our economists have researched it because it is bringing a tremendous amount of revenue into the markets. But I can find some research to share, but I don't have an answer to that one. Sorry. It's great. Yeah. Lots of revenue.
Yeah.
So.
Well, with that, thank you, Jocelyn, for coming to speak to us. Just hold on. Let me give you. You got applause and smile. So I would like to present you with our Share What You Can award, where we will give a warm meal to a homeless vet in your name.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks. So just a reminder that in 2 weeks is our Sweetheart Luncheon. If you didn't sign up in the Green Book, please sign up. Not like Jerry Engel said, bring your real sweetheart, not one of those that Jerry talked about. You don't need to consult the CDFI to come, and if you do want to come and bring your sweetheart, you can even talk to our guest today for a new engagement ring and help get more free water, right? Clean water in the rest of the world. So Rotary is like tennis. The one who serves best usually wins. Now go forth and make a difference.